I want to review the polls because I actually think they're like the coolest thing ever, and I can make the chat a little bit bigger and just talk to you guys about it because this is a way to bridge the Plain Talk family from the but there, that seems good. Poll review, yeah, because I just realized like with the Plain Talk YouTube fam, you have the Twitch fam, and here's a way to connect the two. So I'm gonna get it all recorded. You guys can be part of it, and then you guys can get to like a say over there. All right. So why don't we go ahead and review today, this week's polls? We got 5 of them. It's our first time ever reviewing the polls, uniting the bridge between YouTube and the Twitch portions of the Plain Talk family. 5 days ago, with 1.6k votes, 1,600 votes, people decided on which of these 5 meme forgotten cards to make a deck around. And King Bellowhen won overwhelmingly. I put Bincy there. I thought Bincy was a goner, to be honest, because I thought Syndicate is so scarred. Syndicate is so scarred right now that I did not think Bincy would get much love, and she did not. Wasn't sure about the rest. The OG series has quite a bit more love and fame than I thought she would. King Billhan, though, completely destroyed everybody by far. Moving up, I thought that was really interesting. Another question I tossed out is, does the Syndicate coin mechanic need changes? 60-40 split effectively. A lot of people are still fine as it is. They say, and that means they're looking on card nerfs to try to bring down Syndicate's power level. Might be reasonable given that Syndicate wasn't really a top meta, really not even a faction like a couple months ago. Like go back half a year, it literally wasn't playable. But it was fascinating that something needed to change. Piece of card finish. Never seen Pulse community stuff before. John mentioned it. Yeah, I've started using it. It's just like I think the best way I've ever seen the Gwent community. It has such bigger reach than Reddit, from what I can tell. Like this has 1.3k votes. It's fascinating. It's a surprise. It's more split than I think I was expecting. I either thought it'd be overwhelming one way or another, but people seem to still believe in card nerfs as opposed to trying to change something. That was an interesting result. I think I would have leaned towards something needs to change. I really don't like the carryover personally from round to round, but the people have spoken, and that's roughly where we're at. That's 1.3 thousand votes. That's a lot. Yeah, I agree with you, old lady Gwen. I'm a big fan of the kill the carryover, in my opinion. So, yeah, I mean, Reddit's a yelling board, right? I love Reddit. If you're watching this and you also use the Gwent Reddit, we're actually getting to you, too. I have a poll about Reddit not too long. All right, two more up. And so, with that said, I do like the subreddit. I think this is actually a better way to poll the community because it's just getting so much more participation than something like Reddit. So, going through the next one, did you watch the Gwent Open? A lot of people did. I was actually really impressed by this number. Out of 1,400 people, nearly 30% did. Nearly 30% of them did. And also, over 60% were aware it was happening. Or not 60% aware, but 60% knew what it was in addition. So most people know what a Gwent Open is. And then over half, about 66%, or so 2/3, was aware of the Gwent Open, with 1/3 of that group participating. This is kind of like a sad moment, though. I don't know what Gwent Open. I didn't know there was a Gwent Open this past weekend. Means that everybody knows what a Gwent Open is, but they don't know the dates. This is an obvious opportunity. Because if we look at the numbers here, out of the people who are aware, roughly a third of them will, maybe a little bit more than a third, will attend, right? So you missed the opportunity here of 20%. You're missing 6% additional participation into getting well over a third of the people in by just making people aware. I thought that was really fun. Yeah, and then also especially Bob Fish is pointing out Bushy's watch party is really interesting. And preschool girl, welcome. Good to see you here. Open question is highly suspicious of selection bias. Maybe. It's also like the most comprehensive poll that exists on this row, right? It's 1,400 people participating. You could say, John, it's biased towards people involved in your community. It's only the YouTube group. But I feel that a lot of the most active Gwent users are frequently on YouTube because it's a place where you can always go for good Gwent content. It's always there. If your favorite streamer isn't on, you can just watch their YouTube VODs. So I thought it was, to me, an interesting thing. Now, you're right. I do attend to a more casual audience. I do find that YouTube polls definitely reach beyond my audience alone. It definitely permeates throughout all the Gwent community from how far-reaching these polls and the number of relative votes they get. With that said, you're right. Someone like Bushy or Spear making this poll might have even more people participating. But I still feel that the no, I didn't know there was a Gwent Open this past weekend is a missed opportunity. Next one. This one I thought was the weirdest of them all. 1.4k views. This is actually our votes. This was the poll during the last game that inspired me about talking about the polls and bridging the content groups of YouTube and Twitch. 2/3 roughly of people think Witcher Alchemist is fine. Are you kidding me? Or not, no, not 2/3. 1/3, pardon me. Still the same amount of shock. 2/3 is fine with the changes. 1/3 is like, no, it's perfectly fine. And they are wrong. All of you who voted here are wrong. I get it. I'm glad you got your voice, your opinion. I get you have your opinion. You are all wrong. No way. I just played before this, going into this review, literally a game where they played Alchemist off Gorther, took Heatwave off the top, and they didn't run Heatwave because they're devotion, and they could Heatwave my haunt now and just lost the game immediately. No, just kill. What would you do? Anything, oh Lady Gwent. It's one of the most high rolly outcome cards in the entire game. It swings provisions left and right. I won 3 gift subs from Speci because somebody played Witcher Alchemist and sniped Feign Death in the open. I did not deserve those gift subs. I should have lost that bet. But the Witcher Alchemist high rolled Feign Death from the opponent and I won. So I think it's terrible. Self-select people towards have heard of it. People who haven't heard of it tend not to answer. Preschool girl, you know what? You might be right, but I can't get good, interesting polls if I like. This isn't professional. This is John polls 1,000+ people and finds out interesting stuff. I didn't answer the poll because of that reason. Makes sense, Raxy. Where I'm not a Nilfgaard player, but I don't think Alchemist is super busted. No, it's not that it's busted. It's not overpowered. It's just a problematic design where it can win or lose a game out of nowhere. Without any skill, just pure gambling gods, and you can't respond to it. Cantarella, though, is not the same. There's 2 different parts about Cantarella. If they Cantarellaed my Heatwave in round 2, then they would have to play another card, no big deal. They can't save it. And they can't mulligan it if they hit a bad card. They have to deal with it. 2, Cantarella is 7 provision. It is a higher cost to play that card than Gorther. Gorther's 8, but you're really just playing it for the location ability. Any unit is icing on the cake. Alchemist, even though I just treat Alchemist as a 5 provision card, it's still just a much lower risk card. Guaranteed 5 points, and if you hit something big, you might just win the game. It's very different in risk levels. Cantarella doesn't let you save it or mulligan it, you just play it. Nilfgaard has a lot of these cards, but Alchemist is the one that's super low risk. Cantarella has risk, requires you typically to set up something. Alchemist is high roll heaven. That Dave, yes, you have to play it right away. Exactly. It's definitely part of it and not a higher provision cost. Playing your opponent's deck is fine. Being able to, this is just too flexible and too low risk. It's like when you look at the results of an election and wonder, how do we murder kittens for fun party get this many votes? Are you talking about this right here or this right here, Amdor? Tell me what poll are you looking at? This? Alchemist is not just slightly better. It's astronomically better, in my opinion. It's a 4 for 6. It's a 5 for 5 that guarantees, gives your opponent something to brick on because you give them a crap card up top of your deck. So it ruins a mulligan. It might win the game by sniping a scenario. Merchant isn't Merchant the same? Much lower. You have a risk though on your end cliff side of giving them something really good without setup. Alchemist guarantees you're giving them 4 provision. Yeah, it's way better. It's not close here. Yeah, Ladumi. It's not. Alchemist is in its own league. Alchemist is fine. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, we're on the same page. This is I do not like this party. This party is not my fan. God, it's so bad. Yep, preschool girl, but that situation costs me like 1 every 1,000 Alchemist plays. Think of how many Alchemist plays have cheesed wins out of nowhere. It's far more likely to cheese it than get 3 good goals on the top. I did have one where I got 3 good goals on the top. It's so much more unlikely. Kingslayers are fine. It's a 4 for 6. It's a very weak card. Alchemist is not weak. Anyways, I thought this was really surprising. The community was way more split than I thought. The fact that over a third of the people are thinking it's fine blows my mind. Next poll. Do you like the current Gwent meta? The answer is Meh. Yes, Kintian. 37% of the 1,400 Gwent players said it's fine. Don't change it. God, I hope CDBR doesn't see this poll. Moving along. Do you like the current Gwent meta? Actually, it's more meh. So when people are worried about all these Gwent streamers leaving for Storybook Brawl, I think they're just burnt out. The general consensus is meh. The most polarizing views, I love it and I hate it, got the least amount of votes. There is even the like gets got 22%, which is more than the I don't like it. So the I hate it, the polarized people, obviously have more than that. All in all, really, this poll, it's a beautiful bell curve right around its meh. I think it's meh meta. There's not enough diversification, but at least 4 factions are pretty relevant. You can do still weird memes. It's a meh meta. I think it's more than just monsters though. I think it's that there's Monster, Skoya, Tail, Nilfgaard, and Syndicate, and that's it. And each one has a very clear best deck. They kind of rock paper scissors each other. It's very well defined, but it's kind of boring. And you can beat any of the decks, but it's very clear what decks are the best, right? If I were to go to like the TLG meta report real fast, the meta, clear good factions, clear good let's go down to it, right? Tier 1, Fruits, Pockets. Tier 2, Spell, another monster deck, which is really just relics, and then Imprisonment. There's the meta. That's it. Everything else got ranked worse. And it's just, Enslave is not nearly as good as Imprisonment. Commandos, honestly, being this high in my opinion is a little generous. Never really see it anymore. It's 4 factions with very well defined decks, and that's what it's come down to. I think it's this one. There we go. Voodoo Commandos, boo indeed. Actually, I think they're fine. So, moving along though, I think it was surprising. 2,000 votes there. People find it to be a meta. And last but not least, this one surprised me. It came out today, so we have less votes. Next day or two, if you come back and check how it looks, you'll see 1,000 plus. How often do you check the Gwent subreddit? We're talking earlier about what's the overlap between YouTube and not the Gwent subreddit, or in the Gwent subreddit, and it looks like about 40%. You have 50% of people on YouTube in this poll do not use it. And you have 10% who completely blow off the Gwent subreddit. But you still have nearly 20% checking it daily. An additional 15 putting it 35, check it once a week. And a little 9 just check once or twice. Fun, enjoy. I'm glad you're enjoying the great stream. If you're heading out, take care, my friend. If you're just complimenting me, awesome. This is the last poll you see. Okay, perfect. Take care. This is the last poll, and then we'll go back to playing Gwent. I thought this was interesting. I feel like there's a lot of untapped potential for Gwent content if you have so many people checking daily. Because I'm going to be really honest. Guys. If I go over to the Gwent subreddit, I don't think the content's like mind-blowing. Sorry, Gwent subreddit. I like you guys, and I browse you every day just to see if you guys shout me out. But I always feel like you got a couple memes. A hot take. A mention of a baptism of fire, Gwent-like game. It's kind of a Gwent. This is actually good. I actually really like the Renfree post. Shout out to the person doing this. I think it's Team Band the Gang, or somebody. Team Band the Gang got a little logo right there. Does a great job. And I just don't think it's like this this content powerhouse. And I'm saying that as if you want to be a Gwent creator, is probably opportunity there to keep pushing. Meme on top was good though. Yes, Android subculture was fine. It was a fine meme. The memes are fine. There's usually one good one every day. That's why a lot of us check it. But for me, I was thinking like, wow, as a content creator, so many people are checking Reddit that there is overlap between the YouTube and Reddit communities. I wonder if there's opportunities to bridge that. I have no way to exploit it has come to my mind yet, but it came to my mind as a Gwent content creator. If you're looking to get into Gwent content creation, should be on your mind too. And that is the 5 polls this week. Shout out to McRandar and Ahmed Ali for all their unbelievably generous support on the Patreon.